Welcome back to Go Fund This, the podcast where you find out about the coolest crowdfunding campaigns out there that you want to know about. I'm your host, Rob Southgate, and today I am joined by Ken Spencer from Frog God Games to discuss the Indiegogo campaign they are currently running for Northlands Saga of the Lord of Ice and Cold. Here's Ken. Ken, thank you so much for joining me today. I am really excited to talk to you. We have a really exciting Indiegogo to talk about, and I have had Frog God on here before. I love your company. I'm just excited to talk about this new project. So, Ken Spencer, welcome.
Thank you for having me on. Am I the last frog on board? I've been hearing that. My partners are more photogenic, I think.
Oh, I would say that's inaccurate. None of them have come on in Viking wear.
Oh, well, then I'm ahead of them. I keep trying to convince them. I keep telling them, look, if we wear costumes at the booth, we're going to attract more traffic. You should have costumes for interviews, for conventions, for everything. But
you're 100% right. If they would just hire me for marketing, I would change their world, and it would all involve costumes. So you and I would rule the world, right? So the Indiegogo, we're gonna put this out front, and then we're gonna go back and talk about you a little bit. But it is for Northlands Saga, Lord of Ice and Cold. And at this point, right now, as we're recording this, we have 7 days left. By the time this airs, I think we're going to have 6 days left. Your goal was $500. Are we going to hit it? Yes, you blew it out of the water. You're at 9,755 as of this moment, but that doesn't mean we don't want more support and we don't want to get more people involved in this. But the risk is negligible at this point. So fantastic.
Well, thank you. The risk is always how much do we make and how much will that fund the next series of books?
Exactly. And you know what? I've had Frog God on before. Every project that I've talked up here, had people on for, has been wildly successful. And the response I've gotten back has been, wow, Frog God games are awesome. Like, these are just great products. So, and this one looks really cool. So the one we're talking about today is Northlands Saga, Lord of Ice and Cold. Give me some details.
Sure. Northlands Saga began 2010 when I first went to work for Frog God Games. We did a series of 4 adventures at the time and followed it up with a Northlands Saga Complete, which added a bunch of adventures to the setting, but didn't add an adventure path. They were more standalone with a few links into them. Several people worked on them. I started the series, and then I went to go work for Cubicle 7, and then other people finished it. And we wanted to not just bring Northland Saga back and bring it with new systems. It's in 5e, Castles of Crusades, and OSE now, but to go back and add material, add adventures, turn it into an adventure path, the full series that you can do first level through 15th, and to do a director's cut, because before I was just a freelancer writing stuff and taking my checks and running off to the next job. And now I'm a partner. I'm in charge of the project, so I get to make the tough decisions.
And you get to require a clothing requirement for the company. Viking wear is what's going to happen going forward, right?
Exactly. So I may change it a bit. I'll be going to GaryCon next month. And
fun.
As I've learned in the past, my Viking and my pirate outfit are short sleeved, and those are not good for Wisconsin spring.
No. You don't want to go into Wisconsin in short sleeves until probably July, because you just never know.
Exactly. Well, Wisconsin spring's a misnomer. I'd call that winter anywhere else.
Yeah, right. We lived in Minneapolis for a while, and people would always say, "Oh, it's so cold there." It's like, you know what? It's actually really lovely in the summer, but you got about a 2-month window.
Yeah.
And every year on Easter, my parents would come up and they'd be in their short sleeve shirts and their whatever. Well, the first year they came up with short sleeve shirts and everything, and they pulled in and we got 12 inches of snow. I'll never forget my dad saying, I think I'm going to go buy a shovel and put it in the car. Like, what is this? Yeah. So It's the Northlands, right?
It is. It is. So I just toughed it out. I figure, a Viking shouldn't have to wear long sleeves to be comfortable in the sleet.
So let's talk about this Indiegogo.
Yes.
I know that you've got different tiers that people come in on. You want to focus on a few? You want to give a few?
Sure. We're offering 3 products. We're offering Spring Rites, which is the introductory adventure. It's where you get started in your journey through the Northlands, and it doesn't deal directly with the main plot, but it sets up the main plot. It's sort of almost like a prequel. It's your character's first outing into the Northlands, their first time they've given any sort of responsibility. They're sent to watch over their jarl's daughters while the daughters pick flowers for the Feast of Freya. So it's real, low risk, low reward sort of mission until things go sideways. The daughters get kidnapped and our heroes have to decide, am I going to go back and tell the jarl, sorry, I lost your daughters? Or are they going to proactively, go on a dangerous journey to rescue them?
Yeah. Either way, it's no longer just a peaceful little sit down, right?
Exactly. And then the next adventure in the series is Spears in the Ice. On a whale hunting expedition, our heroes come upon an iceberg that is floating on its own against the currents and has a city of ice in the middle of it. So they go to explore that.
Oh, you just said everything that I wanted to hear. That sounds amazing. So let me guess, that's one of your favorites because of the way I could tell a little bit of passion in that one.
It is. It's one of the ones that I enjoyed working. I enjoyed revisiting because it was originally never. It's one of the few that was never a standalone adventure. It was never published on its own. It was only found buried in the Northlands Saga Complete box book, hardcover book. So that was 2015.
Okay.
Retailed for the long time at about $125. So most fans haven't had a chance to see that adventure.
So when I'm looking through some of these, the perks and the options you have here, it's like, there's the PDF soft cover. You can get, there's 3 adventures I see here.
2 adventures and a player's guide.
2 adventures and a player's guide. Okay. So you've got all the way up. You've got a perk at $55. You get all 3 PDFs, POD, all 3 softcover PDF. I mean, pretty standard things, which, hey, let's face it. If I know as a gamer, I want those soft covers. So I look at this, I'm like, I know right where I'm going on this one.
Yeah.
And the amount you have though is really good. I mean, it's a way that as somebody who wants to support gamers, who wants to support creativity, you can jump in here at a pretty good price and really get something great. Get a nice soft cover of this game, which I am going to be doing when we're done with this conversation, because this is just awesome.
And the soft cover is our standard imprint perk. The POD is for international backers. Gotcha.
Okay. What about freebies here?
Okay, we're offering 2 freebies. They're PDF only. You can download them, I think, right now. Okay, I don't know sorry. Got a text from my son.
Oh, see, I thought you were getting an idea.
No, got a text from my son. That said 10:30 to 4:30, but he's supposed to be picked up at 4:30 anyway. So I have no idea what that means.
If I know sons, it was some type of manipulation. Something is up, right?
I've been after him. He's got a thing on Saturday and he hasn't been very clear on where, what time.
Oh, so he's your kid, because I've got one of these and I'm telling you, it's pretty much standard operating procedure.
He brought home paperwork. Well, where is it? I don't know.
I brought it home.
You brought it home.
I did my job.
Yeah. Anyway, so back to Northlands Saga. So what was the question? This is late in my workday. I've written over 2,000 words and answered a dozen emails. So
and I've done. If anybody listens in order, they're going to realize my voice gets more gravelly and deeper as I go along. I've done so many interviews today. It's ridiculous. So where were we? I don't know. I'm going to start with Planet Earth because I know I'm going to get that right on the test. If you ask me to spell my name, I might get that wrong. So we're just going to kind of go from there. I think the last thing was you had told me about the international orders,
Yes.
Which is the POD, and then
the freebies.
About the freebies.
Yes.
I knew we'd get there.
Have 2 system neutral freebies. They're PDFs only. Anybody can go to the Indiegogo page for the campaign we're running and click on the link and download them. They are Northlanders trinkets. So it's 2 D100 tables. One for the Norse, which are the human culture in the Northlands, another for the Nooklanders, who are the Fey or elfin-like inhabitants of the Northlands. And it can be used for 5e players who want their characters' starting trinkets to be themed to the setting, random items found anywhere or in an NPC's pockets, whatever you want to use it for. But they're 2 D100 tables, because
fantastic
tables are fun to make.
Yeah, fantastic. Let's talk about some of the people involved in this, because I see you've got a list of artists here. So artists that you've got involved, I mean, this artwork is fantastic. And that's something that, once again, anyone who's listening to me talk to you, your team, I always talk about the artwork on Frog God. I love it. I love how you put it together. I love who you've hired. When we look here, we've got, and I don't think I've actually had these artists involved in the ones that I've talked about, but Adrian Landeros.
Yeah, actually, all these folks, they do a whole lot of work for us.
Yeah, I just don't think they were on a couple of the games that I worked on. Maybe they were, but it's not reminding me of anything here. But wow, these are fantastic. Julio de Carvalho, Ton Pham is another illustrator, and Quentin's okay. I was pretty impressive with the names until now. Sobriard.
Yeah, I think that's how it's pronounced.
You know what? We're going to go with that. So,
sure.
Quentin, it's Quentin. That's what we're going to go with. But yeah, I mean, you've got some really amazing artwork. I love that you hire people that are kind of, we'll say, a little bit more international. So there's a different flavor to what's going on here. And let's face it, we live in a world that's international. I prefer that. I prefer to see people that work, inspired by Mobius or Frida Kahlo or whoever, as opposed to only, all my games look like Jack Kirby, even though
exactly.
I do love Jack Kirby. So,
well, in our stance, I'm from artists to writers to editors, is we hire the best person.
Right.
And then afterwards, it may be like, so that's okay. So now we're going to pay you and we're going to have to convert the money, but that's okay. Our layout is being done by Kosciuszko Press, who we partner with for layout. Manny is the guy who runs that. He's an Italian living in Japan.
Okay.
And he manages a stable of layout artists and graphic designers who do that work for us.
I got to say, everything from Frog God, top notch, looks gorgeous, plays great. And also, I did want to point out, and this is actually important too, your PDFs are fulfilled by Drive-Thru RPG. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Drive-Thru RPG. In fact, I think I'm going to talk to them about sponsoring our shows, because I love them and they love us. So I think we might go one step further there and try to get a little bit more involved, because it's such a great resource for RPG. So many things that I could never find or even have heard of come through on there. So that's excellent. I'm glad to see that you're working with them and that you do your fulfillment through them.
Well, and they do a great job of fulfilling PDFs, of organizing people's libraries. And I'm a drive-through fan. I'm a drive-through customer.
Yeah, me too.
I have a separate account just for the customer stuff, and another business account for managing, those sorts of things.
I'm literally at the point where I have so many games that I could not, within a lifetime, play all of those games. And yet they keep getting my money.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's awesome.
And it allows me to do things. We'll be starting a Robin Hood themed game with my home game in about a month.
Oh, fun.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was thinking, you know what? I should pick up a copy of GURPS Robin Hood.
And guess where you can do that?
Drive-Thru RPG.
Right. So Indiegogo, they go there, they type in Frog God Games. I'm sure they can find it that way. They can go there and they can type in Northlands Saga, And it's the Lord of Ice and Cold. That's the one you're looking for. But if you type either of those in, you are going to find this. You do want to jump in there and support it. Yes, they've hit their goal. So great. We celebrate. This is happening. But that doesn't mean that you don't want to get in there and support it, because by supporting games like this, like you said, it drives the next game. It drives better product going forward. More people get hired, more content, more fun. Right?
Exactly. And we'll be following this up with another campaign in a few months that will continue, advance the plot with Vengeance of the Long Serpent and Winter's Weird. Weird, W-Y-R-D. So Fate,
I thought you were just saying that.
No. Fate is a reoccurring theme within the series.
Yeah.
As our heroes battle Althanok, the demon lord of ice and cold, who seeks to encase the world in a perpetual winter.
Fantastic.
Or just move to Minnesota.
So the links, I know that some people are auditory learners, others are not. The links are in the show notes, so you can click right there and go right to the Indiegogo. Ken, where can people find you?
I have a writers, authors page, and I could send you that link if I haven't already. And you can also find me through Why Not Games, which is a company my wife and I run on the side.
So I'm gonna put a little buried lead here. I'm going to have you back on. I'm not sure which show. In fact, actually, I am sure. I'm going to have you on TTRPG Insider. I want to talk about your history in gaming. I want to talk about you as a creator on the back end of things, because that's something that is so interesting. And every show I listen to, they end up just playing a game. But I want to hear about the creation process and the marketing and the writing and all that fun stuff. So I invite you back, and we'll have you on TTRPG. And maybe we'll have you on Alley Chats. We've got all these shows. We'll find something for you. So, Ken, thank you so much for being on.
And thank you for having me on.
This was a lot of fun. And we're going to talk about painting miniatures on one of these too.
Oh, sure. And that's a regular thing. If you look at the Why Not Games Facebook page, every Friday I've been putting up a how to paint something.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. So
just text and images, because I don't shoot my own video.
So go and follow Why Not Games.
Why Not Games.
Why Not Games. Why Not Games. And follow them on Facebook, and I'll put a link in the show notes.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Ken. Thanks. Wow. What a cool project. The Indiegogo for Northlands Saga of the Lord of Ice and Cold ends on February 23rd. So don't wait on this. Time to support this project is almost up. Thanks again to Ken for coming on the show and sharing this really cool project with us. If you or anyone you know has a crowdfunding effort about to launch or currently going, send them our way. We love to share creative projects and to help people reach their goals. You can connect with me through the Go Fund This Podcast Facebook page, or email me directly to rob@smgpods.com. You can find a link to this Indiegogo and any links discussed on the show in the show notes. Go Fund This is a production of Southgate Media Group, hosted, edited, and produced by me, Rob Southgate. Thanks again for listening to Go Fund This.